Good morning. It is currently 6:34. I've been up for about an hour now, so the only thing I've had so far is my 24 ounces of water. I've been sipping on that while doing some work. I have meetings for majority of the morning, so we'll be working on that, some client stuff as well. So training will happen towards the afternoon slash maybe around noonish. But I'm gonna finish working right now and get some food in me because the brain's main source of energy is carbohydrates. So in order to make sure that I'm thinking clearly, properly, and as efficiently as possible, I'm going to go ahead and have my breakfast.
All right, so it's meal one of the full day of eating. We're going to be having a yogurt bowl, classic go-to. We're gonna go with frozen blueberries, Oikos Greek yogurt, and a little bit of honey. You guys have probably seen this before or seen me post it on Instagram. Now, it is currently 10:10. Unfortunately, I was not able to get that snack in because I had a lot of work to do, so we're having our first meal now. I was having water and I did have an energy drink. I had a Bloom energy drink. Now, when I'm making this yogurt bowl, some things that I like to do is make sure that the frozen blueberries kind of de-thaw a little bit to the point where it's like when you bite them, they kind of burst a little bit. I also have very sensitive teeth, so I don't like to have very cold blueberries. So what I'm going to do is get a bowl and then get those out so they can start kind of de-thawing a little bit, get that yogurt and then let the honey sit on it so the honey can harden slightly because of the cold frozen blueberries while they're thawing or defrosting. And then we should be all good to go. So we have our frozen blueberries from Target. They're gonna go in the bowl. Now, next, we're going to add our Greek yogurt. Honestly, I don't know if we might add the rest of the tub depending on how much we got in here. Now, the reason this is a good pre-workout meal is because it's got protein, it's got carbs. Carbs are gonna give me energy for the workout. Protein is going to help with muscle retention and also muscle repair. It's relatively low in fat. Now, the reason that it's good that it's relatively low in fat is because fat slows digestion, simply because fats are more calories per gram than a carb or a protein. They're gonna come in at 9 versus carbs and fats are going to be, carbs and protein are going to be at 4. Now, there's nothing wrong with fats pre-workout. However, fats tend to make you lethargic or tired due to that long digestion window. So if you do have too much fat, it's going to slow digestion and it's also going to make you a little bit tired. So if you do have a pre-workout meal like this, or you have some carbs pre-workout and you find that you're crashing a little bit mid-workout, or maybe the energy is not sustained or longer lasting and it's like a quick spike and then it depletes, try adding like 5 to 10 grams to your pre-workout meal, 5 to 10 grams of fat to your pre-workout meal to help keep that energy source lasting throughout your workout. But yeah, if you do have too much fats, it can slow digestion, so these nutrients won't get in your system as fast, and also it can make you tired and lethargic. So majority of my fats are programmed at bedtime, which you will see because you'll also be here with me for my dinner. But let me go ahead and make that, add the yogurt to the bowl now and see how we're looking. I'm pretty hungry right now because I've been doing a lot of thinking on these meetings and a lot of talking. So I'm just gonna get the yogurt in the bowl here. Now this is a pretty big yogurt bowl. I'm going in with 250 grams of yogurt. Yeah, we're about 250. Now this is the worst part of the yogurt bowl to be at because there's still scrapables off the side, but this is definitely obviously like not gonna be enough substance for another bowl. But good thing I have another one of these in there because I buy a lot at a time because I know that I eat 250 grams of yogurt every morning. So yeah, this will go good. So I'm going to kind of let it sit for a second before I get to eat it, which is unfortunate because I'm so hungry and I was supposed to have a little snack in between the meetings, but I just didn't have time. All right, now we got the premium wildflower honey from Sam's. We're gonna go ahead and drizzle some of that on top of the bowl here. And this is how the bowl is looking. I'm gonna let it sit for a little bit and then we're going to eat it up. Current snack right now after that yogurt bowl, little dried mango. Love dried mango. You guys don't know, I'm Asian and I love Philippine mangoes. Back in the day, I used to binge on these. Now look at me. Now look at me thriving. Now, this video, this full day of eating is probably going to be my documenting my recomposition. As you guys remember, I was posting about my summer shred, which was my cleanup to go into this recomposition because I decided that I wanted to end up competing next summer. Anytime I mention bodybuilding or competing, I want to remind you or reiterate that I like to do these things, whether it be running, bodybuilding, or whatever feat, to build mental fortitude, discipline, and reflect back to me where I'm lacking, where my weak points are. Because when you get in the thick of training for anything, your weak points are screaming at you and you're forced to face them. And in order to get better and level up, I want to face them, conquer them, even though it may be uncomfortable. So that will wrap up meal and snack 1. We've had Greek yogurt, blueberries, honey, and some dried mango. And that so far is what we've eaten today. It is currently 11:26, so I will see you guys at the next meal or the next drink. I might have some pre-workout before I go to the gym. The only reason I'm doing that today is because I am a little bit tired. I didn't sleep super great last night. Also, I got a new rug. Do we like it? I actually lied. We have another meeting at 1:30. So, or at 1 o'clock. And then as soon as that meeting's over, I'm gonna go to the gym. And now we're going to have our pre-workouts. I'm gonna add some water to it. I'd actually made this for yesterday, but I worked out a little bit later in the evening. And I mean, even right now, it's like afternoon, 2 p.m. It's a little bit late. I don't really like to take pre-workout or any caffeine really afternoon. For the pre-workout that I actually use C-Bum's pre-workout and his protein powder. I like him, but it's mainly just because it's at Sam's. So I get it there. I know today I'm doing a full day of eating, but I don't really think I've ever shown you guys inside the fridge. We have all of our proteins in there. We got ground beef. All the ground beef and steaks are up here. We're running low on steaks. We have 1 New York left and 1 ribeye. I love steak. That's like my guilty pleasure. Not even my guilty pleasure. I have steak quite frequently and I just fit it into my plan. I need to turn the light on in here. We have chicken of the thigh and breast variety. Now, for me, chicken thighs and ground beef are interchangeable. I always have them before bed, most days, and then my post-workout meal is some sort of quick digesting protein because when you are done working out, you're like a sponge, you absorb everything, so you want to get things that get into you quickly. Proteins that are lower in fat, because obviously, like I just said, those digest faster. So a lower in fat protein would be chicken, whitefish usually, shrimp, things like that. And then a good example of a carb would be rice. Whereas like sweet potatoes or vegetables have more fiber in them and it takes a little bit longer to digest. That'll slow your digestion. And that's gonna apply to also pre-workout because you're going to want that to get into your system relatively quickly so that you can utilize that energy source when you're training. But yeah, just optimizing all your meal choices and your meal timing can make you feel significantly better. But I also do want to reassure you that if maybe you're at the beginning of your fitness journey or all these details are overwhelming you, if that's where you're at, don't let these little details stress you out. If you have a sweet potato or a veggie post-workout, you're gonna be fine, you're gonna be okay. But just saying what I do, because this is my full day of eating, and why I do them, or why the choices that I make help me get better results, is something that hopefully you can implement maybe when you get further down the line, or when you do have the capacity to implement a little bit more detail to your structuring, whether it be to your training or to your nutrition. Like when I first started, it overwhelmed the hell out of me. So I was just like, okay, let me focus on getting protein, because when I first learned about nutrition, obviously that's the first aspect that I fixated on because that was what was going to yield me the most results. Like the biggest changes that I could make right away were not drinking a lot of my calories, were prioritizing protein, because prior to when I started understanding nutrition, I probably ate under 100 grams of protein per day. And then I was wondering why I was skinny fat. And it was like, no matter how much of a calorie deficit you're in, if the calorie deficit is not structured or made up of the proper nutrients or the proper nutrients in ratio to each other, you're going to still end up skinny fat even though you're 10 pounds lighter on the scale. Because you don't want to be losing muscle. Well, you want to be losing fat, but you don't want to be losing muscle and fat. In order to make sure that you're retaining and building muscle while losing fat, you want to prioritize your protein intake, aiming for about 1 gram per pound of body weight. Now, like I said, if you're overweight, then you might want to aim for 1 gram per pound of your ideal weight or your goal weight, because you realistically, if you're like 250 pounds at maybe 5'5", you don't need 250 grams of protein. And then after that, strategically placing your carbs and fats like I just said that I do. So this morning you guys saw me eat my honey, my berries, and my yogurt with some dried mango. Now those carbs are gonna be quick digesting, so those are going to give me energy realistically pretty soon. And then the protein in the yogurt is also going to be beneficial, obviously to build and retain muscle. Fat was pretty low in that meal, which means that the digestion window is shortened, allowing me to utilize the energy much faster than had I had a bunch of raw vegetables, peanut butter, a bunch of eggs, avocado, and then a fattier meat source like turkey bacon or like breakfast sausage or something like that. And you can just see that that digestion window is longer, and digestion, especially when you're consuming meals that are like very high in fat, can make you feel tired and lethargic. And that threshold is different for a lot of people. And I've also noticed with my clients too, some people will be like, well, I feel like I need a nap like after my lunch. And I'm like, oh, okay, then we'll just kind of reduce your fat intake for your lunch, and then we'll add the rest of that back to your dinner, and worked wonders. They didn't need the nap anymore, and they actually slept a lot better, because when you eat fattier protein sources, more carbs and veggies with fiber towards dinner at the end of the day, it takes realistically like 4 hours or so to digest, depending on the person, but that reduces your likelihood to binge if you're a night binger, and I was. And so because I was so filled up from my dinner being like a fattier protein source, and then my veggies and potatoes or rice, I'm already at the end of what I should be eating, so I'm full. But on top of that, I'm full from the fiber and the extra fat that was in those meats. And that ended up reducing the likelihood of me binging later that night. But I'm gonna sip on this, and then I'll bring you guys with me to the gym, and then you guys can see my post-workout meal and my dinner. All right, so we're at the gym. We're hitting legs today. I'm about to hop on the belt squat here, but I'm gonna work out, and then I'm gonna take you guys to eat my post-workout meal. So I will see you after leg day. We will be doing the belt squat, then we'll be doing walking lunges, leg extensions, standing hamstring curls, single leg, and then glute kickbacks if I'm not mistaken. All right, so we just wrapped up the belt squat, and now we're going to be doing walking lunges. I can already tell from the heat, hair had to go up. You guys know I hate to put my hair up, but had to put the hair up. I already know I'm gonna be hungry. Already know I'm gonna be ravenous for this post-workout meal, but the good thing is that my girlfriend cooked my chicken last night, and she always cooks it so good, so fire, so delicious. Remember, do hard shit and be confident. I mean, I'm just really training right now, no headphones, listening to the gym music, but I'm actually pro training, no headphones and no music sometimes, just to allow yourself time to think and process stuff. And I say that because when I didn't allow myself the time to think and process things, and I kind of ran and avoided difficult things or uncomfortable feelings and emotions, I ended up binging. Like 9 times out of 10, it would lead to a binge because I wasn't allowing myself to process things that were probably stressing me out. Therefore, they stressed me out for like a long period of time, which inevitably resulted in a binge later that evening. So sometimes it's good to drive without music, to run without music, lift without music. Let's get it. You guys know I'm pulling back on my arm training, so I don't have an arm pump right now, but this is how we're looking, because I just did the belt squat. So really hot today though. You know it's hot and like humid and gross. I mean, you guys know that I live in Houston, so I'm in like the devil's armpit. All right, we are dripping in sweat. We are post-cardio, post-lift, sweaty right now. But it's Houston, so we're gonna head back now and have our post-workout meal, post-workout protein shake. And the cardio we did was just running 400s on the treadmill. So 400s or 1/4 of a mile with a speed focus. So running at a pretty fast pace, or fast for myself. But as you can see, we're just covered in sweat. Yeah, let's go replenish, let's go refuel. Let's go get some grub of the chicken and rice variety. I'm super sweaty right now, and you guys know I have my do hard shit hat. This is one of one. However, it's like you can see the sweat stain. And when I originally ordered it, I thought it was gonna be like those dry, oh my shirt is like sticking. Dry fit running hats. I really don't think I read the specifications correctly when I ordered it. It's just like a regular canvas baseball cap dad hat. Today for cardio we ran in the Brooks. I'm not really sure what they're called, but Brooks I wear for like when I'm running 800s, 400s, or doing cardio that's not a long distance run, and then when I'm doing like long distance road running. The camera's shaking. Whenever I do like long distance road running, I wear the whatever Nike Zoom Fly something with the carbon plate. I'm not sure. I went to Fleet Feet to get these fitted, and I kind of needed them in a pinch. Hence why I got the red with the flames. Not particularly like my go-to color. My favorite color is brown, neutrals, you know, brown, dark green, and yellow, but that was the only one that they had in my size, which was the flames. And fun fact, in like men's running shoes, my foot is like a 10.5 or like a 10. And I'm 5'5". My foot's like a 10.5 or a 10, which is kind of crazy. So I'll see you in my kitchen. My girlfriend bought me some ceviche back. So that will be added to my chicken and rice bowl right there. I'm gonna put a little bit of water in it because basmati rice is so dry. So just drizzle a little bit of that on there, and we're gonna pop it in the microwave for 2 minutes. And while we wait, we have some ceviche in this little cup. I think ceviche would be like I'd say top like 5 favorite foods. Look at this bite. All right, now we're gonna add some chicken breast. Again, quick digesting protein to get into our system so that we can absorb that as fast as humanly possible. Quick digesting protein is essentially just a protein that is low in fat, so chicken breast is the way. All right, now we're gonna throw on some of this right here. Sometimes I'll like to add pico de gallo, salsa, banana peppers, pickled jalapenos, chopped tomatoes, diced onions. But today, I'm just gonna keep it simple because I'm hungry. All right, so dinner and my meal for tonight is going to be sushi and pot stickers. We're sharing this, so I'll be having this, and if I'm still hungry, I'll be having ground beef, rice, and cottage cheese. If you haven't tried that, it's a fire combo. Top all that off and wash it all down with a double scoop protein shake. So we're ready for bed. We got the protein shake to wash down the sushi with. I ended up not getting hungry. Super fun day, super good training day. Went to the park and built an awesome Lego set. It was really pretty, and I got some sunlight. And then we got flowers and sushi from HEB. I'm gonna try this shake now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next video.